Okay, so the final 10 overs are upon us. Butler to bowl his final over at the Nillumbik end. Once again, there are two fielders deep. Everyone is saving one. There's no one catching. With short third man, point, cover, extra cover, mid-on, mid-off, and mid-wicket.
It's a good signal.
And the two deep fielders are square-legged, backward square-legged, and cast corner. But with the change of strike, the square-leg fielder moves into an orthodox square-leg.
Both doing a good job here. Ryder's found himself onto 22, which was important for him to get a score after Faboso went out, so he's done his role as a number 3.
Indeed.
But I think they have adopted your approach, which is just to see off Butler. It hasn't necessarily been a win for Macleod against his overs, but the fact that he hasn't got a wicket is okay. They can certainly work on it from the other end. Now we'll have to check the replay if that carried. I get a feeling it did. I just get this feeling. We'll have a look on the monitor. And, yes, it's carried. It's carried. Look at that.
And the field is a little bit deeper. Yep, mid-on and mid-off are going back for the final ball of the over.
Missed out on a run out, but still a good 8 overs, should I say, there for Butler. With 9 to go, Macleod find themselves 3 for 95.
Well, Wells to continue. 32nd over, Elizabeth Street end.
Worked away so they could very well get the boundary, and they will.
Excellent stuff. Once again, Wells dropping it short, and with his lack of pace, it means that the batsman is certainly has enough time to get into position for the pull shot, and it's just a matter of being aggressive enough and hitting the ball hard enough that it actually gets to the boundary.
It looks like they are going to do the plan we were talking about earlier for Wells, as we'll just see him come in. The fact that he's going to bowl Mitchell's innings overs, the fact he's into his 4th now, and Mitch bowled 3 earlier today, so that's 7. So they can work between McCormick and Keenan, the remaining overs there. Unless they had something else in mind with a different bowler, but that seems like the way to go.
Well, the fielder had only been put back there 2 balls earlier when the boundary was scored, and it just seems like a defensive ploy to just leave the player on the boundary so that Wells concedes no more boundaries through the short pull shot. And suddenly, the batsman hits it right down the fielder's throat.
It's also the 3rd partnership of just that beginning to get going and falling short there. We had a look at the first couple of partnerships of 22 and 27, and that partnership found itself being value of 32. So 3 partnerships at the brink of being match winning almost for Macleod, and they haven't quite got there, which has kept Diamond Creek in this contest.
Yes, definitely. It's that huge difference, which is obviously one of the running themes of club cricket, which is that the international standard batsman looked to bat at minimum 2 hours. A district cricketer might try to bat an hour, but in terms of club cricket, you might expect to bat for just half an hour, and so the best of the club cricketers, the local cricketers, really seek to bat for much longer, and losing wickets after batting for about an hour is the great tragedy that so many local cricketers suffer from.
Probably because of the fact that when they practice, they only bat for 10 or 15 minutes in the net, so they're not actually used to it. So, as if across, this is bottom lead driving. Scarmazzino is the man at the wicket number 6, the man that you rated really highly there when you're doing your pre-season analysis for Greg Ray.
Indeed. He was certainly he's underrated, I would say.
That's 100 up for Macleod, and that's also the end of our 30-second over.
So, this is the 33rd over.
Got Ken back in the attack, which, when you think about it, it's probably a little bit of a risk there because we've got 4 more here at the Nillumbik end, and Ken's got 3 of them. So if they bowl them out, they've still got 1 more over to find. Be it McCormick coming on from this end, or be it Wells or Mitch Elsing, depending on who they want to go with. But I would have thought maybe McCormick come on at this end and let him have the opportunity to bowl these last 4 just straight out here.
Things are starting to become a bit tight for Macleod. They'd have to score quite large to get a 140 score right now.
Only about 5 and over they would take at this point. I'm not sure they're going to get it off Ken the way he's been bowling today, definitely being the highlight so far for the Cricks.
There is a third man, as well as a short third man, short cover, point, extra cover. Well, we knew this moment was going to happen. I just expected it would happen about 10 minutes earlier than it has, which is that the pressure of the fact that the run rate is a little bit low than you would expect, you're a bit worried that you're not going to get a competitive score, and so then you take a wild shot to try and bounce back, and then suddenly you throw your wicket away. I expected it to be much earlier than this, but we've seen the first of the wickets that really come down to pressure, and Diamond Creek's defensive fielding and bowling.
The big one as well to get Bottomley out. He was just starting to get going, and we've just obviously seen Rodder as well recently go out there. So we've got 2 new batsmen now at the wicket there. It'll make it difficult, but if they're good enough, they'll get the job done. With now Thies at the wicket, the late minute inclusion there.
So now they're in a very awkward situation, because if you have 2 batsmen who have been in for a long time and you ask them to score 4 to 4.5 runs per over, they probably could do it in a typical one-day game. But new batsmen, it is just a recipe for them barely scoring 2 runs per over, and then a 1 21-15 score might be what Macleod score, which will be very disappointing considering they were going at 4 runs and over. They were 1 for 50.
So we're on the money straight away from Ken there, and maybe this is why they've decided to bring him on maybe over earlier than what otherwise they would have. They maybe sensed there was the opportunity to get bottomly, get 2 new batsmen in, and then be a little bit more flexible with their options. They not have to worry so much about trying to get both McCormick and Ken to 8. Be a little bit more flexible.
Well, the second wicket in the over, a second wicket that goes down to run rate pressure, and a caught and bowled, very nicely taken, because he had to, after he bowled his delivery, he had to run down the length of the pitch, so a good 20-yard sprint to get into position to take that catch.
It was a fantastic change up there. You don't necessarily think of local cricket bowling one halfway down as the best of deliveries, because most pitches it just sits up there, but he's got a little bit of extra zip there, rushed the batsman a bit and forced it to be skied, and yeah, very nicely held there. So we've got the club legend Jamie Cleary to the wicket there. Hundreds of wickets there for Macleod in the higher grades there, and as we talked about a little bit in the pre-game show, did some good jobs with the bat, average in the 20s there, so by no means is he the worst number 8. He'll have some important runs to make here if Macleod are going to get to that score which we thought they were going to earlier.
So Coventry Oval is one of the most misleading grounds, because most people who want to watch the game are inside the pavilion. So when you look outside, it looks like there's only 5 people watching this game, rather than the 20 or 30 people who actually are. Anyway.
So we've got our first double wicket made of the summer. Who knows if there'll be any more. The Roos are in trouble, 6 for 100.
So this is the 34th over. With just 42 balls left in the innings, and the competitive score of 140 would be run a ball, and just a par score is 1 every 2 balls.
It looks like being close to that 125 score at the moment there, and they are going to have to bowl well, Macleod there. There's some dangerous batsmen in this demon lineup there, so you have to get the job done with the ball if they are going to defend a 125 score. It looks like that hoik that they were doing before there is covered. It still seems like the best shot there to get your boundaries, because even though mid-off's back, there seems to be a lot of territory to cover for your deep mid-wicket.
Yes. So, if you hit the ball to square leg and you hit it hard enough that the backward square leg can't cut it off, you're going to get 2 guaranteed. And if you hit it above the mid-wicket / mid-on fielder, you're going to get 2 or 3. So definitely the leg side is where the runs are, and the batsman has had 2 dot balls with the ball outside the off stump going to the keeper. He might need to think of something like it, just to drop and run, because the field is pretty back along the cover region.
Fielder keeping it to 1 there. Having said that, Cleary is much more of a hard hand sort of batsman there, so you don't expect necessarily to have the loose hands to run at the third man or the drop and run that you talk about. More likely to have that hard hands and hit through the line.
Another wicket. Is that the fourth in just a... Yes, it is. The fourth in just a very short space of time.
It's been 4 for 6 in the last 3 overs. It's turned into an absolute nightmare there for Macleod. Not necessarily the wrong shot, it was fine, but the fact is you've got 5 metres either side you can put it to, and you hit it straight to the man who's there at cover there, and it seemed like there's really safe hands there. So yeah, after 34 they're in licorice all sorts at 7 for 101.
This is the 35th over.
So the new man to the wicket there is Turnbull. That is beautifully struck there by Cleary there. That's the hard hands that I mentioned before there. There's certainly some disadvantages, the fact that you take out your drop and run, but the advantage is that if you've got the strength and you've got the power through it, you are going to find boundaries there, and that was nicely played.
Indeed. It only takes a little bit of timing to actually get those gaps, especially that gap wide of mid-off. The fact that the batsman haven't been focusing on that is quite a... The 5th wicket in the space of some 10 minutes. Or I wouldn't say 10 minutes, because most of the time that we've been spending right now has been waiting for the new batsman to walk to the crease. We haven't had much cricket in the last 10 minutes.
Well, it's just been a demolition, hasn't it, there? Keane's come back on, taking 3 wickets there. Wellesley's got his couple there, and they've just been dominating in this last patch of play. This is the time where you would have thought Macleod could actually start reaching to those heights of that past score, the 125, even looking further than that. Now it's a case of, well, maybe they have to think about the next, say, 3 or so overs to make sure they don't get bowled out, and then worry about the last 2 at that point in time.
Indeed. They've gone from a position where they had plenty of wickets in hand and 2 middle-order batsmen in, to now being with the tail, and they've got just 2 wickets in hand, and how many balls left? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 30 overs clean, and then 4 more balls, so 34 balls with 2 wickets in hand.
Could be a case of just 15. This is as much as they can get there, which is less than 3 and over, and doesn't sound great, but you've only got 2 wickets in hand. With Fixture now coming to the wicket as your number 10.
What should Diamond Creek be doing right now?
I don't think they have to change too much there. I would have thought maybe you bring up the 3rd man into catching position there, because, like we just mentioned, the next 3 overs, you would have thought the batsmen just trying to make sure they don't get bowled out, losing a lot of deliveries on the back end there. So you would have thought that maybe a little bit more conservative, like the start innings there, where there'd be more prods and defensive shots. So maybe bring in a second slip. Of course, Keane's got an opportunity to grab the first Michelle Pfeiffer of the summer.
Exciting stuff. He's really been putting up a magnificent performance today. So how many balls does he have left for today?
Well, he's got the 2 balls in this over, and he's still got 2 more overs there, so he's still got those 14 deliveries, a chance to knock over at least one of these wickets there and come away with a 5-wicket haul, and could feature in our votes later this evening.
If you get a Pfeiffer and you don't get 3, you'd be hard pressed.
Well, Luff later on could go and score 80 there, and
yes,
it'd be hard to ask.
change of the field. They've taken out the short third man and put him onto the leg side.
That's the idea to bowl nice and straight there. Damon's bowl on top, Macleod, 8 for 105.
This is the 36th over, and what is their strategy now? Is it just going to continue doing what they've been doing for the last half an hour and just continuing on, wrap everyone's spells up?
It certainly seems like it. It seems like Wells is going to bowl his 8 here. And that they're going to use McCormick there maybe for his 5th over at the end Keenan's bowling from, just to complete that 8 between him and Mitch Elsing.
I'd put the gully back to a short third man. The batsmen are playing the ball very late, getting a lot of outside edges, and I don't want to concede runs down to third man.
A little bit streaky there, but at this point in the innings, you sort of take any runs you can get there. So Turnbull finding himself off the mark with that one. Any relation?
I'm sure he has to suffer that joke every day.
Picton finding himself a boundary there at a much welcome one.
Exactly where I called it.
This is probably why Keenan also had his third man last over, the fact that he's a little bit quicker there. Less likely to get a pure catch or a stop at a gully, so you want to bring in the third man, cover up boundaries, but it seems like for Wells they anticipated the gully and didn't bring him back. It's sort of halfway. It's not quite a short third man, but by no means an easy single.
Well, the 9th wicket has fallen, and the batsman again playing the ball very late, so late that even just the gentle angle of the left arm medium is enough to get the outside edge, and he's been caught behind.
With Merritt's first catch of the summer, he's done a pretty tidy job today. You'd take a day where you've only let through the one bye and got yourself a catch.
The one bye was through a very unusual circumstance. It was hardly through negligence on his behalf.
So we've got our final man for the Roos, White coming to the wicket there, who's got a bigger job to do a little bit later on this afternoon with the ball, but still an important job with the bat. Might be a case of getting to say the 39th over, halfway through the 39th there, without losing another wicket, so even if it gets only 5 runs, that's okay. And having a more of a go in the last over or so against, say, McCormick or whoever bowls his last over.
Yeah. Getting to just maybe 115 would be a victory at this point.
Well, we've lost 6 for 11.
6 for 11. This game has been completely turned around.
So we've played 36 here at commentary. It's 9 for 110.
The 37th over.
So Keane really doing a hero's job here for Diamond Creek there. We're coming to the side as a recruit there. Maybe a little bit of pressure coming in when your first game. You certainly want to perform. You want to make sure you hold your spot on the side, especially with such a strong third 11. He's done fantastically well with the 4 wickets.
batsman did try to step outside the line of off stump, but he didn't make a huge stride, so maybe he was hit in line. It certainly wouldn't have missed the stumps.
Probably a bit unlucky to save the king there. I had a different thought in mind of what I would have done if I was umpiring, but that's a bygone error for me.
It's going to be interesting what Diamond Creek think to do right now, because obviously the goal would be to just take the last wicket and get off the field. But on the other hand, they don't want to concede 5 or 10 runs trying to get that last wicket.
I don't have to change too much the way it's gone. I mean, we're looking at the first over in, say, about 5 overs where there hasn't been a wicket, provided hasn't won the last couple of balls, so I wouldn't be too worried if I was Diamond Creek.
I know, just the difference between 110 and 120 can be significant, and it would be good to just for Diamond Creek just to get the wicket now rather than have to get to chase 120.
Well, you can tell what Ken wants. That's a big wicket.
Yes.
So we played 37 here. Macleod, 9 for 111.
.38 for over. Wells to continue to bowl. And third man is a deepish, and
So the third man at the moment is Luff. He'll play an important role for Diamond Creek's batting.
yes,
Staying at the top of the order. So Keen's, of course, bowled out. Let's not forget. So there's still one more over here at the Nillenbeck end, which we're thinking McCormick, or potentially Mitch Elsink, and then Wells to finish off.
should take out mid-off and put him in the slips, and also mid-on and put him in the slips.
Turnbull working away another single.
Precious runs at this point.
There's having a chat in the middle, perhaps slagging off the batsman earlier who didn't make enough runs.
Yes. Change of the field, and yeah, they have brought in a slip fielder, but not replacing the ones I suggested.
Well, if Wells can hold that line, that 6th up line, you probably don't necessarily need 4 on the leg side there. It's only if Wells is closer to a 3rd or 4th stump, that's when you need to have the 4 on the leg side.
True. But the batsmen are just not driving the ball straight down the ground, so having mid-on and mid-off there still seems superfluous. Very, very clever bowling by Wells. It's not much. It's just good left arm, medium to medium fast bowling at about the off stump line. Sometimes it comes in towards off stump and straightens and holds the line. Other times it leaves the batsman. Just a little bit of movement is very devious.
I'd like to say he worked it down to 3rd man wide, but I'm not sure who would believe me. Tidy over from Wells. With 2 to go, it's 9 for 113.
Well, 2 overs to go, 12 balls, get 6 runs, and you're giving Diamond Creek 120 to win.
And of course, this final 5 overs is brought to you by 5-star wall removalists. When you've got a cat door or dog door you want to remove, don't just remove the door, remove the whole wall.
Better late than never, Haydos. And we've got to bowl the final over at the Nillumbik end.
Got McCormick here for his 5th over, and of course last. Not the best single either, because you want wide on strike. He's the most streaky, and Turnbull been working away those singles, so that's not a good way to start. There's some handy runs here, just creeping their way towards that 120, and it could be that psychological edge as well there. You think about a run chase, if you're looking at less than 3 and over, that's perhaps one mindset, and over 3 and over is another mindset there. Shouldn't vary too much, of course, logically, but could be a little bit of a psychological battle.
Wow, a good aggressive shot there.
First time I've really seen him from White there. He's looks shaky. He had that edge course through the 3rd man the last over, but got himself a nice shot. Starting to get towards that 120. And we've 1 to go, the Roos, and 9 for 118.
So this is the final over, and of course there has been that change that Wells was seemed to have been brought on just to bowl the overs that Elzinc wouldn't have, but now Wells has bowled a significant spell, which means someone else missed out.
So it would have worked out that McCormick now has bowled the 5 that Elzinc didn't bowl, and they're effectively your 5th bowler, with Wells bowling all 8.
Marvellous catch. Diving down low to his left, and he had to get a lot of his body underneath the ball so that when he took it and he collided with the ground, he could safely land and not cause a huge accident, not pop the ball up. So a great catching technique there. And the 10th wicket has fallen in the final over.
And it brings the 4th wicket for Wells there, so, well, maybe not necessarily to the calibre of Caden's wickets there, the fact that he's got amongst it again there, and he's known vote getter Wells, so wouldn't be surprised if he features somewhere in that 3, 2 and 1, but still a long way to go.
And not only does Macleod miss out on 120, but the target is not 120, so they will be chasing 2.9 something to win Diamond Creek. And they must be very happy with the fact that they've turned this game around They've taken the situation from being 1 for about 50 going at 4 runs and over to being all out for less than 120. The target is less than 3.
Well, 7 for 19 was the collapse after 3 for 99, where we're seeing Rodder and Bottomley just turn it over with those singles with the occasional boundary there, and then the change of Wells coming in was a pure masterstroke there. It seemed obvious, and we picked it in the commentary box, but at the end of the day they still had other options they could have turned to, guys like Watson, but they went with Wells. It was the best option and got the job done.
Well, it's time for us to take a break. So we are going to play you a video montage of the Coventry Oval area, and then when we come back we will have the second innings. So until then, it is bye from us here at Channel 8, and you'll return to us for the second innings. This is of course Channel 8, the local sports network. We are seeing the B grade round 1 game of the 2018-19 season between Diamond Creek and Macleod. Take a break now. We'll see you soon.
On a streetcar in Tacoma on a Sunday in July, you're kicking off your sandals as you stare up at the sky. I look at you and fumble for the perfect thing to say, but my nerves get in the way. I've cherished you for ages, but my words were locked in cages, so afraid that you just saw me as a friend. Now I wanna set them free, my fingers clench into the key, but I am frozen once again. Oh, mystery, I'm so afraid of what could be. If the door is closed, should I suppose it's locked? Or should I suck it up and knock? You look at me with patient eyes and flash a little smile. My heart is jumping from my chest and filling up the aisle. I've done the calculations and I've studied all the signs, and I've read between the lines. What if I'm mistaken? What if all of this was taken out of context and I blow it all apart? Would I baffle and confuse you? Would I break it all and lose you at the end before we ever got to start? Oh, mystery, I'm so afraid of what could be. If the door is closed, should I suppose it's locked? Or should I suck it up and knock? So many summers in a time so long ago, we were kids and nothing mattered in the sunshine on the coast. I never would have planned it, but the feeling still expanded into more than just a friend that I adore. Oh, the mystery, I'm so afraid of what could be. If the door is closed, should I suppose it's locked? Should I suck it up and knock? So afraid that you will walk. But for my conscience sake, I have to take a shot. Gonna suck it up and
Welcome back. As you can see, the Macleod fielders are just wandering onto the ground right now. Just getting themselves organised, working everything out. Over here, the umpire is already out in the middle, waiting to start play. And here come the Diamond Creek openers. Alright, let's get back to playing.